Welcome to the Fat2Fit HQ podcast. I'm your host, Carol Salva of the Firearms Radio Network. In this podcast, we're chronicling our journeys from fat to fit. We talk about pursuing a healthier lifestyle, not only in diet, but in all areas of life. Hello, welcome for joining us. Oh yeah, say hello, Jack. Say hello.
Hi, Carol. How are you?
I'm good. I was going to say I have a special guest, and his name is Jack. But you know what, Jack? People know you from a few episodes back. You did the Tough Mudder with us. We've done a show with you before. But I always call you Jack, and I think we're going to start calling you JT, right? Because now we're more intimate.
Right. Sure. We talked about what to call me, so we'll just stick with JT. That's what a lot of my friends call me that, and I just haven't ever disclosed that. And also, just when we list these things on the World Wide Web, I have a real job, so I want to make sure that I try to keep it separate a little bit, not just in case someone starts looking for me out there.
Sure. You're not hiding. You're just not putting. I mean, it's hard to hide out on the internet. You're just not putting it in anybody's face. I get that. And now we're all friends, man. We're a community. And if you go by JT, we need to call you JT.
There you go. Well, not everybody, but enough people do that it's not. I'll answer to it. Let's put it that way.
Okay. So we'll know we're talking about you, not me.
There you go.
Now, do you see, for anybody watching, this is the YouTube version, and we'll use the audio from this for our podcast, but we do have a video that's maybe going to get out there, and this is so special, JT. This is 100. Episode 100.
100.
Oh, I know. That's so fantastic. So, especially because it allows me to wear this tiara. Do you see it?
I can see the tiara. I was wondering if you knew that was out there because I didn't know if I accidentally added that or how. They wouldn't dare know how to turn it off. So
you put a tiara on me. Do you have one? These are Google effects because we're doing a Google Hangout. Do you see this stuff over to the left? Do you have something to choose from? Or no?
What did I just do? Never mind.
Yeah, you're going to be like me with the technology, right?
No, I'm usually better than this, but I see the effects, but I don't see what my options are.
If you click on Google Effects, I think it's Effects, then you get all kinds of fun hats. So I have a tiara, but I'm going to switch. I'm going to switch to this halo. Oh, let me take off the tiara. Oh, now I have a halo, yeah. And that's so appropriate. Okay, I'm going to let you play on your end with your Google effects. I'm going to have a couple of announcements. This is a pretty cool show because you and I. Oh, yeah. What about you? I have a tiara. What do you have?
Your audio is, I don't know if that's just my messed up, but.
Yeah, now you're cutting in and out, so we'll have to see. Hopefully we don't have to re-record. I can usually piece it together, and people are pretty forgiving. Can you hear me now?
Well, that's good.
Okay.
Yep.
We'll just do our best. So, we're both in hotels. That's why our internet is, what it is. But I'll piece it together for the podcast. The video sometimes is a little sketchy, but the podcast usually is not too painful, and our audience is pretty forgiving. So that's great. So, hey, this show's going to be pretty special because we don't have like a guest that I'm interviewing necessarily. Like I kind of going to interview you a little bit and you're going to interview me. We do every time we talk. We're just going to kind of catch up on where we are.
100 episodes. I think I listened to all of them. I was thinking about whether or not I have or not, but I think I might have one or two unplayed, but I was looking in my iTunes, but it's hard to believe it's already been 100.
I know, it's so crazy. And somebody posted on Facebook the other day what the update was on Zach or Jake coming back on ever. And I know, and I was like, that's such a great question because we promised Zach Carlson and Jake Challen started this podcast, 2 years ago or something now, and Yeah, man, where are those guys? They said they would come back on from time to time. It was Angelo. I hope I'm saying his name right. Angelo Carrion. Anyway, Angelo, sorry if I'm butchering your name. But I love that he posted it because it kind of puts it out there. And so Zach even weighed in. I was like, hey, what about it, Zach? And Zach's like, well, I've fallen off the wagon. The wheel's completely fallen off. He said he's about 5 pounds over where he started the show. So I want him to come back on, and we'll just have to see. I mean, it's been a couple of years, and he hasn't just gained a ton of weight. So I think that's great. He doesn't seem happy about the weight. So I think it's a great time for him to come and join us again.
I think it'd be a good time for those guys to come back. I thought episode 100 would have been a good time, but I know Jake's busy with other shows, and Zach's hiding.
Zach's totally busy with his gun bench. He's on thegunbench.com. If y'all check him out, if you're missing Zach, there's a lot of Zach over there. And I know he's totally busy, and Jake too. But you know what? Your health comes first.
That's what they should. That's what they need to be doing, though. I would expect that they would be more than willing to come on. I would think they would.
I think they are. I just haven't been bugging them about it, and that's what we need to do. But I'm super psyched to have you on. Tell us what's been going on with you. Sorry.
Obviously the Tough Mudder high is a bit over.
No way.
But I'm still nothing revolutionary is going on really. I'm still planning on doing October 4th in Dallas, so we're gonna do another one. I've got a handful of people that have already signed up. My new son-in-law is going to join me. I told him that I would pay his entry fee, but then he'd have to pay me back if he canceled. So that was his penalty.
Awesome.
If he canceled. So, and I got some interest from some others and stuff. So we'll see how it goes. And then I have a friend of mine that just did one last week, and he said he was talking about all these obstacles that we didn't have, and so I was, oh my gosh, now I'm getting scared again. So we'll see.
I was totally honest with you guys when I was like teasing you and razzing you about how hard it was and whatever. But then when we got there and I saw all these obstacles I've never seen before, I was like, oh no, I'm sorry. Everything I told you guys is like worthless because it's a different run. They're making it different now. There's some favorites you'll always have those monkey bars. You'll always have that high dive. But it was fun to have completely different obstacles.
Yeah, you only put one of the group in the emergency room.
No, only one. Hey man, that's only 10% of us that was actually getting IV fluids. I think that's not that bad.
So what have you been up to? What have you been up to?
No, I'm sorry. I don't want to say sorry to Stacy. That's totally horrible. Of course it's horrible. And we would definitely encourage people to stay as hydrated as possible and acclimate yourself to the weather. I have been doing all kinds of work stuff. I really am loving my job right now. And over the summer, we do a whole lot of teacher training. And I'm at a conference right now. You know what? I'm at a teacher conference, but there happens to be a Mary Kay conference going on in this hotel. And I have never felt more butch in my whole life. I really have to up my bling and makeup and hair to hang with these women in the hallways. I thought I was all Texas bling.
There's probably plenty of pink Cadillacs in the parking lot, though. I guarantee it.
They're so fun. They are so fun. You get in the elevator, and they actually are wearing tiaras. They're wearing tiaras all over the place. And, good for them, man. They have that organization. What they're doing well, and that's great for them. And I just find it inspiring because they're all so super inspiring for each other. So it's been neat to see them walking around. But yeah, no, I've been doing a lot of work, and I have organized a different obstacle run. One of the coolest things is that the people that did the Tennessee run with us are now doing, everybody's like splintering off. Instead of what's our next run all together, Lisa Jarman is doing one in Florida. Aaron's doing one in Minnesota, I think. No, where is he from? Michigan.
Michigan. Yeah, there's actually a Warrior Dash this weekend, I think, or something in Michigan, but it's big. It's like 30,000 people or something.
Wow.
20,000. And that's where I am right now. I happen to be in I've been in Michigan all week, and I've been a lot of people talking about the race. I think it's either this weekend or next.
Go run it, man.
Yeah. I need some help.
Hey, guess what they have on Channel 2 in Houston? And that's I think, what is Channel 2? It's NBC, I think, or any CB. No, I think it's NBC. Anyway.
American Ninja?
Probably no. No, the obstacle, F3 cross training in Houston.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the news station went down there, and I don't have local news because I'm up in Dallas, but they had the whole. Caroline texted me and said, "Watch the news. Sean's on the news." So shout out to all the F3 cross training people, and yeah, and Sean Lester, who runs that F3 cross training. If you're looking for that, it's f3crosstraining.com. That gym is fantastic, and they had the news people go through his obstacle course.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and Jack's done that obstacle course, and I think we're going to need to do it a couple more times before October.
Yeah, is he going to do any more of the night ones, or has he done any night ones?
I don't know if he's going to do another caveman challenge like that, but before they do a Spartan race and stuff like that, he usually opens it up on Sundays for people to come try it out. So I'll keep everybody posted if he has another freebie. Come try out the obstacle course. That you just sign a waiver. But yeah, so you have your October run that you're inviting people to, and people you can email me for details, and I'll get the information to JT. It's at carol@fat2fithq.com, or hit us up on Facebook or anything like that, and you could join JT's team in Dallas on October 4th. I'm also doing on October 11th. I was going to Paleo FX. Scratch that if you heard that in the last few episodes, because they canceled Dallas Paleo FX. They actually postponed it with no date yet for postponement. So there's that. But at the same time, Gritty Goddess is going on in Galveston, and I find this a really cool thing because they have a 1.5 mile kid obstacle run. And a lot of these runs have like a 100-yard dash for the kids. But this is 1.5 miles for the kids, which I mean, it's something that I feel like they need to really train for, and get good with climb. I mean, kids can climb and stuff like that, but I tried to do a 5K with my kids, and they were like cramping up and everything. Kids are on the computer too much now. So we're going to train for it.
Are your kids going to do it? Are they going to do it?
Absolutely. That's what we're hoping. So anybody listening, we are opening this up to the listeners. Hopefully we're going to have a big team, because this is a med run for women, but this one is women, and we're going to invite our families. We want this to be a family event. So the kids run is at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Our wave time is 9:30 in the morning. And so all the ladies, whether you have kids or not, some of the guys come and tailgate the whole day and just catcall the women walking by. But I think our guys are going to keep the kids off-site and maybe bring them at 3 or 2. So we'll be well done with our run. It's only a 5K, and we are walking the whole thing. Two women on our team are under like doctor's orders. They can't run. So it's going to, I always say those runs are over too fast. Well, it's not going to be over too fast, because we're going to walk it, and then we're just going to play on every obstacle, and we're going to be just so proud of ourselves when we're done, because some of those obstacles are pretty tough, but everything has kind of an entry level, like there's a tall wall, but right next to it is a shorter wall. And so, it's as hard as you want it to be. And yeah, the team is called Las Chicas. So we're Las Chicas, and we hope we already have like 8 people. And wow. So I know. So we kind of merged with another team.
Who's doing it? Anybody we know or anybody from the show, or anybody that we might have heard of?
Absolutely. Carolina. Do you remember Carolina? I know you remember Bill, because he was giving you a run for your money, the whole Tough Mudder. Yeah. So his wife Carolina was the one that kind of started it. She had already signed up. She did it last year with her daughter. And once your daughter gets, or son, they get to be teenage years, daughters, they can do the run at a discounted rate with you. But this is cool that even my kids that are much younger have their own separate run. So Carolina and her daughter, Caroline Miner, who we talk about all the time, Nurse Caroline, her kids aren't coming, they're older boys, but Caroline's doing it with us. Maureen Ukles, who has been on the show. We've done a show specifically on Maureen. Elena, our lost mother. You remember Elena, don't you?
Yes, I do.
She's super psyched to do it because she wants to do another Tough Mudder in the spring. And what a great, train up kind of thing to get you ready. Yeah. So there's Elena. There's a friend of ours we teach with. Her name is Perlita, and her daughter is my daughter's age, around 7 years old. And so, yeah, man, we've got, they're crazy fun women. There was this lady named Shelly Templin who at one time had said that she would do this run with me.
You should call her out.
I'm calling her out publicly right now. Go get her. Is she in the other room?
She's not, because she didn't travel with me. She's actually she's actually traveled to North Carolina today. So, but I think she might do it, but I don't know. She's still been fighting that knee injury. But she said she was going to do the October 4th Tough Mudder, so we'll see about that. I don't know if she'll do it or not, but I'm trying to get that group together. But we'll see how many show for that one. I don't know why. The paranoia is already setting in.
Because it's a big deal. Okay, these are two completely different runs. And get Shelly over on my team. She'll do the spring with all of us when her knee's better. But it is. Your Tough Mudder is tough, man. You know who we need to call out publicly also is TJ Gaucher. He's with the Firearms Radio Network too on the Insider, and he lives in Louisiana. He is not that far from Dallas. And he said he wanted to do one with us, and he could totally come up in October on the 4th and do that one with you. So
yeah, he's welcome. That would be great.
Everybody's welcome. we need people who are going to show up. We've got some guys in Dallas from the Firearms Radio Network, Reed and Steve. And from the AR-15 show, those guys from Gun Guy Radio, they live up in this area. They need to step up, man. People who listen to their shows, please call them out on why are they not doing Tough Mudder with Jack Templin on October 4th. So we'll have links to their emails in the show notes.
Yeah, nothing like a little peer pressure to get them to show up. It'll be fun if they do. So
come on. And you know who lives in Houston now is Frank Krieger, who is our photographer.
Oh, really?
Frank can make a drive up. I just made the drive up. It's fast. Calling you out, Frank Krieger. Who else can we call out?
I don't know. Your original reason for not doing it was you were going to Paleo FX. Now you don't have that excuse anymore.
I know, but I got this. Why you gotta call me out like that? I got this whole. Oh gosh, we should spread the love and do more types of runs to include more types of. And I say run. I'm telling you, ours is a total walk, not even a walk run like Tough Mudder was. And things where you can include your kids. I really think that's Gritty Goddess is giving us a great opportunity to show that these things are so empowering, but not just for adults. These things, if you're a guy and your wife doesn't want to do it, maybe your kids just want to do it. Maybe you just want to look for one of these runs that have a kid obstacle run. And, I mean, kids would love it. They would just love the mud and the playing and my kids can't wait. So I'm sure.
Now, have they done it before? Have they done one before?
They've done a 1K that goes along with a 5K, and they're usually complaining. So we're struggling, Jack, with getting our kids more active. And our kids are normal kids that if there's nothing else to do and it's decent weather and they're outside, they'll run around and play. But that's not their first choice. Their first choice is to be on the computer or some type of screen. A phone, an iPad, a DS, and it's like pulling teeth to get them outside. And now with the weather where we are, you got to hit that early in the morning or take them swimming. And I don't know, it'll give us an excuse to go, you know what, we have to get up early. We all have to get out and go walk or do something because we don't want to get, I mean, my son literally got a cramp doing a 5K with me. And I didn't think 3 miles was a big deal for a kid who, is decently active, and he couldn't finish it. I mean, he was totally laid out with a cramp. And I was like, geez, what has happened to our children? He's not, so anyway, this is going to be good.
Games. Video games is, I think, what's happened. That and screens, like you said. The phones, my kids are older, but they don't put the phones down for very long.
And me either. That's the sad thing. I wake up with my phone. I go to sleep with my phone. So I'm not a good example for them. I think we all need to, as a family, go, let's just turn everything off and go outside. So this will be fun. This will be a lot of fun to get prepared for. And there's school. I'm very proud of what Caroline and I and the health fitness teachers are doing at the school. We have a real effort on trying to do more active stuff with the community. Walking Wednesdays, where we walk the little track at the school, and anybody who wants to come walks with us. And they have little classes after school where they're, teaching kind of functional training to people who want to commit Zumba in one of the classrooms. It's really kind of cool.
That is cool.
Yeah.
So what's been going on with your experiment with Jeff Fry?
Jeff Fry Nutrition. Okay, Jeff Fry Nutrition is the best thing that's ever happened to me in my life. To tell you.
So how's that been going?
It's pretty. I know we have a delay, so it sounds funny our audio, but it's pretty fantastic. I have to tell you, the first thing he had me do was just take 2 weeks off. Just like don't try anymore. Like, you're trying to be so low carb and you're trying to do this and you're trying to do this cardio or not do cardio or strength training. Just don't try for 2 weeks. That was the hardest thing, was to try to, not. He just said do no harm. Like, don't binge either. Just do no harm, and relax. And I was in California at the time, so I had no problem. Put on a couple more pounds. Jesus, like so fast that I put on about 10 pounds. I'm talking just a couple weeks, and so I've talked about that before. And it's really. I think Ben Coomer said, explained why that is. If you're so low calorie or so low carb or so low anything, as soon as you go back to even healthy, moderate eating, your body's going to store that fat quickly. So it takes a long time to up your calories if you've been in a deficit for a real long time, or just low calories. And my body is used to around 1,100 calories or so. And that's nothing, Jack.
Yeah, I don't think that's enough. Didn't Coomber say like it's 2,600 or something?
Well, that that was for Sandy Dumond, because she's so active. She cleans houses, so she's on her feet all day long, and she's training for a half marathon. So he's like, you're active and you've got cardio and strength training on top of your active, super active life. There's no way she should be around 1,200 where I am now. She is, because her body's adjusted down to that. And if he said if you go and put another 1,000 calories where she should probably be, she's going to put on fat. So oh my God, what he said was so depressing, but it's true. You probably need to add 60 calories a week for the next however many months to reacclimate yourself to your better calorie load. That's what he said is the work that she should probably try to put in. And then maybe dial back the cardio if you're on your feet all day. I think he might have said something like that. I don't know. But we have to go back and listen to that episode. But what Jeff had me do was, he thinks it's way too low calorie where I am. And I'm not consistently, anybody who wants to look at my FitnessPal and look at my diary, the links are in the show notes always for that. And so sometimes I have these outrageous blowout days, but I go right back to 1,200 or 1,100 calories because it might be a carb night or it might just be a fluke, but I get right back. And so it doesn't do too much harm. But yeah, I had put on weight because I carb loaded for days for the Tough Mudder and at the Tough Mudder and after the Tough Mudder and then the 4th of July. And it was just depressing how fast weight came back and kept coming back. And so then I started working with Jeff, and he's at Jeff Fry. It's spelled like Jeffrey because there's only one F in Jeff. So it's Jeff, Jeffry, Jeff Fry Nutrition, and we'll put that link in the show notes. But anyway, yeah, he had me just do nothing for a couple weeks, and then we're gonna start strength training in a little bit. Right now, we're really focusing on just the nutrition. And it's been going great. My friends thought I was insane. Like they were like, there's how can this be worth it? Because it would be different. He's working with my husband also, and what he has for Brad to do is completely different than what I have to do. And it's so unfair because I don't know, I guess because of his muscle mass and his habits and his goals and stuff, he can do a whole lot of different stuff. But what Jeff wanted to do with me is really try to figure out how I respond to certain nutrients and certain times of the day. So we stripped everything out of my diet for a couple weeks, just going down to like he's like, you don't have to do this, but to the extent that you can cut out artificial sweeteners. But you know me, I'm all or nothing. So no artificial sweeteners the next day. And all those kind of things. Almond milk, it might cause bloating. Okay, well, I cut out almond milk. And it was hard that first week because I was almost fasted for a lot of my day and pushing definitely any amount of carbs to the evening, but even protein to the evening, that it leaves you very little choices for the day. But you know what? It's amazing. After a couple of days, I was completely acclimated to this diet and I stopped snacking. That's the weirdest thing for me, was the higher fat without the other stuff. Like I wasn't eating any junk and hardly anything else during the day besides pure fat.
What was your source of fat? What were you using?
Oh, God. I would wake up, and at first, the only dairy that we thought might be okay to leave in was heavy cream, because it just is such a great vehicle for your coffee. So I stopped using my Splenda artificial sweeteners at all and just did cream and coffee with a ton of cream because I really wanted to get a lot of fat. And we were trying to up my calories. He bumped up my calories a lot that first week. It wasn't no 60 calories a week. We went from 1,200 and we bumped way up to like trying to get a goal of like 1,600. And so I had to get a lot of cream in. And then at lunch, this is what Caroline could not understand. I had to have a working lunch with someone where we had to bring our lunch, and my lunch was 15 pieces of pepperoni and 2 tablespoons of coconut oil.
Oh, that doesn't sound good.
Okay, Jack. Now, Jeff did not tell me to eat that. He just told me, to the extent possible, limit your protein at lunch and try to have more fat. And he told me the sources of fat, and coconut oil was one of the really good ones that I like. But do you know what a freak you are when you're the one with coconut oil for lunch and a few pieces of pepperoni?
Well, I travel with coconut oil, and you know how much I travel. I've told you. So I travel with coconut oil, or I buy it when I'm on the road, or I travel with I travel with MCT oil too.
How do you consume that? What are you doing?
Well, MCT oil I just put in my coffee sometimes, or I'll just and I'll pour it back and forth in the cup until it gets, because it just floats straight to the top like an oil slick.
Yeah, you have to. That's why you have to blend it. See, now you're totally right about that. So that you're having it in the morning with your coffee.
But that's only when I'm on the road, because most hotels don't have heavy cream. They're 2%, and 2%'s got sugar in it, or lactose, which is sugar. So I've put the Starbucks app on my phone, and I use the Find Starbucks.
Because they have heavy cream.
Because they have heavy cream.
Absolutely. Now that was just the first week, and that's when my friends were like, "You're nuts." But after a couple days, That's what I was saying. It was so beautiful that I wasn't. It would really really help me with my appetite to just have. And if I was still hungry, I really usually wasn't after breakfast, but I would just have some more coffee with more heavy cream. Or that's when Jeff was like, I mean, it doesn't sound appealing, but if you wanted to just take a couple shots of coconut oil or fat bombs, he said, your fat bombs are the same kind of thing, except that I was using a sweetener in there that he doesn't recommend. We ordered pure sucralose, and so that stuff's so potent, and I've been loving that. So anyway, I've morphed into now the most delicious coffee drink. Because after a couple of weeks, I added back in almond milk. So, and we're just seeing this week if almond milk's okay, and it seems fine. I'm keeping the weight off. So, okay, so in 3 weeks, I've lost 10 pounds. And
Wow.
that's kind of amazing. And I wonder how much of that was just inflammation and water initially, after Tough Mudder and all of that. But I don't care, man. 10 pounds doesn't feel like just water weight when you don't fit into any of your clothes at all. And it keeps coming a couple of pounds every week.
Now, what's he got? What's he got? Is Brad trying to lose weight, or
Yeah.
what's going on with? And is he having success too?
Yes, yes, he is. And it's that thing where you have to tell Jeff, as your health coach, your goals, and you fill out this whole questionnaire. So Brad's was a little different than mine. So and also, I should say, even with that real restricted diet that first week, he did tell me, I don't have to do all this. We're just going to do it to the extent you can do it. And then Saturday, we're going to have your carb night. And so it's not like I've been eating this way for 3 weeks. Every week I got a little bit more into my diet, and I'm super happy. I'm super happy with it. And Brad's diet never went that extreme. He gets to have way more protein way earlier in the day. And then Jeff is watching my Fitness Pal. We're talking with him regularly. I've texted him pictures of a plate of food where he's been like, well, you might want to have a little more of this and hold off on that much protein to dinner and different things. So Brad's like, this isn't that hard. It's that I'm accountable to somebody. They're kind of holding my hand. They're kind of telling me what to do. And he's being a little more strategic than when we were just trying to do carb night on our own. Jeff has us thinking about things that we just didn't think about. And so it feels like we're just being smarter about it. I mean, depending on how my week went is what we decide to do for the next week. Even how I feel, if I have enough energy, if I feel good, if I don't. He's upped my protein a lot from that first week just based on the fact that I felt okay and I lost weight. Well, we want to have more protein and continue to lose weight. We're trying to find my upper thresholds for everything, for carbs and protein, right? So you want to be able to have a hamburger every once in a while if you can, and as many calories as you can have, if you can.
So, have you tested your ketones? Are you using your meter? Do you know if you're in ketosis? Are you doing any of that?
No, I probably should, and I should probably test. I just never. Once we started doing carb night and doing a big carb load on Saturdays, I feel like I knew always that it took me several days to get back into ketosis. So, and then I heard Kiefer say it's not really about getting in ketosis; it's about keeping your blood sugar low. So with every meal, I'm trying to make sure I have enough fat that my blood sugar doesn't spike. I think, I'm not sure if that's my goal, but I'm pretty sure the way that my day goes is, I want to stay in kind of a ketogenic state in the morning, the way you wake up.
Right.
So I want to have enough fat that it doesn't, if I have anything, just fat. And same thing for lunch. As much fat as possible. If you're going to have any protein or usable carbs, I need to have enough fat on top of that where it blunts. I think I might be overthinking it, because I was totally overthinking some stuff last week, and Jeff was like, no, we're just having more protein on Saturday so you don't binge on your carb night. And I was like, oh, I don't know. So it's really interesting to reassess with him and then tweak and move forward. And just the how quickly I probably dropped a lot of water and a little bit of weight is super encouraging. The thing that's hardest for me is this next week he wants me to do what he calls a diet download. Have you ever done a workout download week where you just don't do a lot of heavy working out? You might just go through the motions, but real light for 1 week?
Mm-mm. I've stopped totally.
Oh, that's called that's called a workout stop, not a workout download week. So there's a day, some people do a download week so that you kind of reset and then you get back to the business, the serious business after that. Well, he wants to do a diet download week where I don't try to track anything and I don't try to do my macros and I don't try to do any of this real, because we're so biohacking right now that let's he gave me a couple of different options. We could have done that, we could have done something else or something else, and I picked diet download week. And he said, so you're just going to try to be normal for a week. He didn't say normal. I said, so I'm going to try to be normal and just make good choices. And I don't know if I can do that. Like, I don't know how to do that.
Well, and what's hard is that what's normal starts to blur, right? Is normal is now, is that like pepperoni and and the
Coconut oil?
coconut oil, or I mean that's normal for some of these guys if you listen to the podcast, but it's not. I don't think that's normal. You know what I'm saying?
No. I mean, it's yeah, like you said, like if you're in the health and fitness, biohacking, want to be like me, yeah, that you could talk to somebody like Lisa Jarman or Cynthia Crower, those guys all day. They know what you're talking about. But the rest of the world finds you quite odd, and that's what I like. I had my new boss asked me after the conference today, let's all go have a drink. And so we went, and I'm the only one with ice water, and that should be okay. You shouldn't need a drink. But they're probably thinking, oh, Carol doesn't drink. That's nice. Carol doesn't drink. And I'm like, no, it's just not Saturday. It's just not my carb day.
Well, it's funny we're bringing up the fat with the sweetener with the fat. You were talking about wanting to minimize the blood sugar spike. That's why they say. I mean, I was listening to that. I've told you before about Vinnie Tortorich's podcast,
Yeah.
and he talks about. I'm not sure how anybody would know this years and years ago, but the whole wine and cheese thing is all fat and sugar. And if you think about it, if you're going to drink wine, eat cheese with it because the fat cuts the sugar.
Oh.
It's in the wine. It's the same principle. And I don't know how in the world. I mean, I guess people have been eating cheese with wine for a zillion years, but it's interesting that's a recommendation of a way to get the fat in with the sugar when you're drinking, if you choose to drink alcohol.
Interesting. So are you saying that's a goal? Like if you're going to have something that turns to sugar, some type of carb or protein even, that if you have enough sugar, if you have enough fat, it might not negatively affect. I mean, we don't.
I don't know. I do know this. I know that when I've heard people say that if you're going, for example, if you're going to have ice cream, if you're going to cheat or not cheat, if you're going to have ice cream or something like that, go ahead and go for the Ben & Jerry's before you go to frozen yogurt, because you might as well get the fat with the sugar as opposed to because if you walk into the frozen yogurt place, you're going to get all the sugar and none of the fat.
Like whole milk.
The same, or heavy cream instead of half and half, or heavy cream instead of. It'd be interesting to ask Jeff that question. We're asking all these ways to. If I was having ice cream, what should I have? He's like, well, you should have none of it.
I know. That's a trick question because you should have no ice cream.
Right.
Not unless it's your carb night. Another thing that was interesting is I ordered some leucine. I know I've heard Kiefer talk about leucine, and I was like, why would anybody want leucine? Why not? Because that'll spike your blood sugar, and so you use it for your carb night. And I'm like, I'm just gonna have a piece of cheesecake. That's ridiculous to have leucine, like Kiefer said on our show. Go for those strawberry turnovers. But we have had some people tell us that carb night doesn't work for them because they would rather stay low carb. Because once they do their carb night, all those cravings come back, and they're if they've tasted pie, then they want more pie or whatever. And I wonder if doing a night, staying low carb like you wanted to, but doing a night with leucine where you're intentionally spiking your blood sugar to get those effects, but you're not really eating those carbs, so maybe you won't have the cravings to have more. I wonder if that would work for people.
Yeah, I have no idea. Is the leucine part of your protocol? Like, is that something that they told you to order and get ready to use? So you're going to start using that? Have you
Right.
used it yet?
Well, yeah, and in his I haven't used it yet because it just came, but the sucralose, the leucine, and a particular type of whey protein were all only recommended. We could totally make progress and totally do it without this stuff. You don't have to invest. But these are like cream of the crop kind of things, because like that first week we were so low protein, trying to just stay fat adapted and fat fasted for most of my day, that it was a carb night, but it was also a protein night. You know, we wanted to have a lot of protein in that one night, so we wanted to make sure to get in, if I needed to get in some liquid protein too. And the same thing with the leucine. We want to make sure we get an insulin spike. We don't want to leave it to chance. So, maybe even starting with leucine and then having whatever you want after an hour or so after that. I don't know. I can't remember exactly. But what was interesting is my carb nights have not been these blowout binge nights like they used to be. And I'm fine with, even to the extent that Jeff was like, "Are you sure?" Because psychologically it's important for you to feel like you let go and had whatever you want. And this diary doesn't look that crazy. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm good. But I think the protein has a lot to do with that, like forcing in a lot of protein with those meals. You're just full. You're just so full. So, yeah, it's been such an interesting ride, and I'm nervous about my diet download week because I'm afraid I'm going to undo a lot of this progress, but I'm trying to look bigger picture. I want to be normal.
So what is this? Have you talked to him about what this is supposed to look like longer term? Like, clearly this isn't, I mean, y'all are messing around, hacking, figuring out
Right.
what's going on, all this kind of stuff. So fast forward some period of time, what is normal? What does normal look like for
Yeah.
on the back side of this?
I know for sure normal, he said, the goal is not to have to track. We're going to do all kinds of tracking right now to kind of figure some things out. And then, you know, um, right now, even, I feel like I probably don't need to track what I'm doing right now, because tracking was always such a big deal for me when I was always hungry and eating so much. Like, better stop because I'm getting close to my thresholds for everything. And now I'm just not that hungry right now this last week or so. And so the goal is eventually, because I'm not going to just keep eating all fat, the goal is to be able to listen to your body, eat to where you're full, but you've upped your calories. We're trying to get to a point where I'm adapted to a higher amount of calories without putting on weight, so that you can have whatever that is, a roll with your dinner once in a while, and it's not going to derail you. That would be obviously staying active. I would love to try some carb backloading. Like, my goals right now are just fat loss, but I wouldn't mind being ripped, Why not?
Well, yeah, that's for more lifting, right? The whole
Yeah,
backloading.
yeah. So I wouldn't mind, knowing that if I'm working out heavy twice a week, I can do a little more carbs on those days after my workouts without having to write it all down.
Right.
And just kind of knowing your body and listening to your body and maintaining a decent body composition that you're happy with, not perfect, but that you're happy with, is the goal. And I always feel like as soon as I get to that point, I was at that point a couple months ago, and then I kind of forget everything. And again, my calories were so low that as soon as I stopped tracking, the weight just starts coming back pretty quickly. So I don't want to be there. I want to be at a higher set point for how much calories I can consume. I want to show you real quick, because I did put in the show notes that we were going to talk about travel food. So I'm going to
Huh.
kind of transition to, now that I'm in my third week and I'm eating more protein, I'm not having 15 slices of pepperoni for lunch anymore. I'm having a real lunch. I'm still having the coffee. The coffee's so wonderful because I blend the half almond milk, half coffee. I put a little bit of heavy cream in there, and I put some coconut oil in there because I've
Oh,
found with that much fat, I really am not hungry for a long time. So I blend that, and it comes out all frothy like a Starbucks drink, and it's delicious. So, but now that I'm on the road, I'm like you. I brought my coconut oil with me, and this right here, this is gross looking, but this is my container of coconut oil mixed with cocoa and a little bit of that sucralose. And
right.
that's almost too tasty. I have to, but I can easily get
Dangerous.
in pure fat. It's melted fat bombs. What is it?
Oh, I said great. I didn't. I thought sucralose was sugar. Why is that okay?
It's I don't think it's sugar. It's what they put in Splenda. It's without the other things like maltodextrin and those things that are sucralose. I mean that
Oh,
are
okay.
sugar, that are sugar. Um, it's artificial, but from what I understand, and I could be wrong, and people need to look this up. Splenda in some people causes a response, an insulin response, and pure sucralose I don't think they've seen that, or maybe they have. I don't know. But really, all I know is that Jeff really feels like if I needed an artificial sweetener, and I didn't for the first week or so, but once I ordered this stuff, I mean, the amount you need of this is almost just a dusting. Like you can't even measure the smallest amount that you need to like make your whole coffee like way too sweet. So I really feel a lot better about I kind of like pinch it with my fingers and just barely put a little bit in stuff. And I don't know, I feel a little better about that. So this is my travel food. I've got my fat bombs over there for if I feel like I'm having a meal that doesn't have enough fat. And I'm also adding that to my coffee in my hotel room. I have um, macadamia nuts, also a little bit treacherous because these I can overeat these so quickly, but I just got these today and I'm gonna be good with those because I don't have such a high appetite right now. I got almond butter in easy travel packages. If you're on YouTube, you can see these are single serve of almond butter. Looking for real high fat food here, remember. Now, I make my own guacamole at home, but when you're on the road, I went ahead and bought these Holy Guacamole 100
Hmm.
calorie packs. I'm not so worried that they're a 100 calorie pack. I'm not looking for 100 calorie stuff. I was looking for convenience and because, wait, that's the way. There we go. So these are guacamole minis. So I can open this as a snack and again, I don't care that it's 100 calories. It has a ton of fat and no carbs and hardly just a little bit of carbs.
Do those have to stay refrigerated or not?
Yes, and I'm going to show you how I do that too. That's the easiest thing in the world in any hotel. I just ran by a grocery store and picked up some celery, and mostly every place sells cut up celery now. Or you can cut it up yourself before you go. But this just doesn't have that many usable carbs because celery has a lot of fiber, it seems. And so that's an easy thing to dip for my guacamole and these little ranch packets. Again, that's a processed food, the ranch, but it is a lot of fat. I boiled a bunch of hard-boiled eggs before I left. You see my hard-boiled eggs here, my 18-pack in the room. So, I might order a salad, but I have all this stuff to go on it, or a variety. I don't put all this stuff on it, but I have enough fat for my salad that I might bring back to my room. And I keep all of it in this. This is just this little flexible cooler you can see over my shoulder. I mean, it's a tiny little cooler. You can take any little cooler. And the cool thing about mostly every hotel, motel, whatever, is that they have an ice machine. So if you have a Ziploc bag, a lot of the mid-range hotels have a little fridge, but you can't rely on that. So any kind of cooler, even the smallest cooler, can keep some high fat that or just healthier foods that didn't have to be high fat foods, but more natural stuff does usually need to be refrigerated a lot of times, not always, but I've found that it's super easy to keep my little cooler of stuff so that I can have my coffee the way I want it, so that I can have a snack that isn't going to derail me so that I can have the kind of lunch that I want to have. And what do you do on the road? You bring MCT oil with you, and what else do you do?
Yeah,
You're
but I don't have.
constantly.
Well, the only thing I will go shopping if I'm going to be in the same place, and I'll get some. Usually, I get some hard-boiled eggs or something. It's
Uh-huh.
amazing how some of the grocery stores. I travel to the Pennsylvania area a lot, and some of the grocery stores up there, I end up wandering the aisles because they're so much better than what I have where I'm at. They're like they have
Mhm.
really lot of organic stuff, a lot of unprocessed foods. It was just just awesome. So you can get pre-boiled hard-boiled eggs in a 6-pack kind of thing of eggs, stuff like that. I also this has less to do with dietary behavior, but I also travel with Natural Calm. Do you know what Natural Calm is?
No, what is that?
So you don't listen to much Rob Wolf, do you? No, just
Don't
kidding.
tell him.
No.
I've listened to a few of his shows. I know he's
No,
amazing.
it really has to do. Natural calm. It's actually magnesium citrate, and you dissolve it in water, and I drink it at night, and it's supposed to be a stress reducing sleep aid, and it doesn't
Wow.
knock you out. It's not like a melatonin or any sort of sedative, but it is supposed to have a stress reducing component. It's a natural stress, and I it's gotten into this ritual. I've been doing that for about a year now, and it's we've actually been using one of my daughters who gets migraines. They a lot of times they'll prescribe magnesium for people who have migraines, and so we've been getting her to do it as drink it as well. She doesn't like the taste of it, but it comes like citrus flavored and things like that, and it's a powder you add to water. So I travel with that. You can get individual packets, kind of like your almond butter, but I actually buy it in bulk and then put it in a smaller container, and I bring a spoon and I'll mix that. So that's usually kind of uh, a nighttime ritual that I bring with me on the road.
Hmm.
The hardest thing to get on the road is fat, though. I mean, you can usually find protein, but there's just almost no sources of fat. Although the airports, yeah, I fly. The airports are getting a lot better about dark chocolate,
Yeah.
better quality, and I mean I'm talking 90% plus type,
Wow.
uh, and and they'll sell the little squares and stuff like that, and sometimes I'll get that, or I travel with raw almonds or macadamia nuts, but macadamia nuts are just dangerous. I can't. I'll just eat that whole bag.
They totally are. I can't believe, and because I'm trying to up my calories, they're not as dangerous for me. And what we're trying to do right now, it's amazing. It's amazing that in this bubble of high fat and without all the other crap I used to eat, I can seem to go a little higher with my calories and still lose some weight. But when I tried to do that before on my own, I would always put on weight. So it's something that I was eating, like I eliminated so many things that I don't know exactly what it is. That's why we're just now starting to put, like I said, the almond milk back in and things like that. But you're totally right. The fat, the better sources of fat on the road is what I would say to try to bring or find. The coconut oil that's why I brought a little bit of cocoa powder, because for that first week when I needed some fat, I would just take a shot of coconut oil, and that is not the easiest thing.
No.
I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. It's not pleasant for me, and I'm not excited about it, but I'm not going to throw up like some people do. But I'm telling you, with a little bit of cocoa powder and a tiny bit of, I used to use stevia, but now sucralose, um, man, it's almost too good. I mean,
So what's something else you ought to try? I think I may have even heard it from you guys when you came back from Paleo FX, but my daughter gave it to me for Father's Day because she heard me talking about it. Was Choffee. You know what Choffee
oh,
is?
yes, yes, yes. Do you
So
have some? Tell us
I
what you think.
I do have some, and I didn't have. She gave me that and a French press, and a bag of it and all that, and it's a decent alternative to coffee because the heavy cream thing is really addicting. I mean,
Yeah.
and so next thing you know, you're looking at coffee becomes the delivery vehicle for for heavy cream, and then you're having your fifth cup, and you're wondering why you're, so wired because you've had so much caffeine. So, and
Yeah.
really all you're trying to do is get more heavy cream, I think. So
I know.
the coffee, and I'm sure there's caffeine. I guess I've heard. I don't know that it doesn't really publish that, but coffee is 100% cacao nibs that have been roasted, and then
Yeah.
you just throw it in a French press like you would coffee, and you let it steep, and you can blend it and make it iced and the whole deal. And it's got a real chocolate. It's not sweet though, but it's definitely got, if you're a chocoholic, it's definitely got a chocolate kind of a deal to it, and it's an alternative to coffee. And I don't think it has the same caffeine, but I don't know. I don't feel like I get the same buzz, so I don't know but it's an alternative.
And
It's a
you're loving
midday
it.
thing. Yeah, I'm burning through the bag pretty quick. It's almost gone.
Yeah, Andrea Jingle and Kiefer and Dr. Patel, they were talking about Chaffee for a long time after Paleofix. Like that was the best thing that they went away from that conference with.
Right.
Chaffee.
It's pretty interesting stuff. So
Yeah.
the road, the interesting part about being on the road that I find, and this is going to sound horrible, but it's the same situation that you ran into. It's the whole alcohol thing. I mean, I travel a lot. I see people who I haven't seen in a while. They're in kind of a celebratory, hey, I'm in town, let's have a drink kind of thing. But I leave them and I go to the next guy that's in the same frame of mind. And
Yeah.
I really don't want to drink every night, with all the, I mean, I shouldn't say I don't want to. No,
It wouldn't be wise.
it wouldn't be wise, and I just don't think it's that great for you to tell you that, but I'm so it is the whole idea of abstaining in those social situations. It's amazing the stigma that comes with it. I mean, the way certain people won't even leave you alone about it. Especially if they know that you've had a drink with them before and they want to know why you're not doing it in this particular night. So I've started doing the whole. I usually will get to where I'm going. I mean, even if it's just a few minutes early in a hotel or something, and I'll tell somebody that I want. I've told bartenders, I'm going to order vodka soda. I want you to give me soda. You hear
That's great.
you hear what I'm telling you? And when I say I want another one, that's what I want you to give me with the lime in it. And it's just his and my secret. Just because some of these people just don't. They don't. I guess they just unless you're drinking with them, they're not gonna. So I just kind of play the game and just drink soda and lime.
That's so smart because there really is that easy. That little thing just saved you a ton of headaches. You don't have to justify, you don't have to talk about, and it's unfortunate, but it's true. And because you're in that situation with a different crowd very often because of your job and everything. But like I said earlier today, it wasn't that I feel like I have to drink alcohol with these people. I didn't want to feel like the one, like maybe they thought I was passing judgment or not.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I'm too good to have a drink with you guys. It's the same thing with diet where, Jonathan Baylor had said one time, like we're always feeling like we're diet snobs, like we're food snobs, like people look at you like, oh, you're too good to eat our pizza. And it's, I mean, it's not, it's a weird thing. It's a social. You're just a freak. I'm sorry, we're freaks.
I think it's interesting though. Just since I think we're less weird now than we were a year ago. Because funny, and I don't necessarily think it's because we're any different. Those of us who are trying to do something. I really do see more and more people. I was at a dinner tonight and someone's wife was gluten free, and I said, "Are you celiac?" No, I'm just not. I'm not eating gluten. I said,
Nice.
"Really? Tell me why." And it's a very similar story. How long have you been doing it? Well, 6 weeks or 7 weeks. I can't remember how long it was exactly. She feels a lot better, and then you're starting to see gluten-free menus at restaurants that you don't even have to ask for, that are just like indicated on the menu. It'll just have a G next to something or a GF. So this whole thing is getting traction beyond
Sure.
Beyond the freaks.
Beyond the freaks. Join us. Join us on the dark side. You know, it's so easy to join us because we're not perfect. And like
Right.
we have these goals and we're trying to eat this certain way. But the thing that saves me is I know Saturday I can have whatever the heck I want. And it's not, and if I mess up before Saturday, you know, it's that constantly trying to figure out how to not be miserable. I hate to say it like that, but I do. I do. I feel like I'm obsessed. I mean, I know I am, but you know, hopefully one day I can just be like Jeff and I are trying to get me to a place where I don't have. Caroline is at that place. She went to Europe. She went home. She came back. She was so liberated because when she was there, she didn't just totally binge like she used to when she went home on all the pastries and everything. She did a lot of walking, and when she came back, she's like, you know what? I'm not going to track for a while. I was out of range. My Fitbit wasn't working. I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to see how I manage without being so obsessive. And she feels pretty good. But she said, you know, check back with me in a couple of weeks. That's usually when I've gotten into a hole. So I don't know.
Well, it's interesting. I don't know. I don't know if I bought and I hesitate to say this because I'm scared I'm going to jinx myself. But the whole Jonathan Baylor set point thing, Shelly and I were talking about it, and there's been a couple of times where I have really bounced high. Like after 4th of July was pretty nuts, and I think I was up like 6 pounds, and literally within 48 hours it was back down. And there's been and I have been, you know, the same weight now within 5 pounds. And for some of my, it's not the same at my height and everything, but I've been within 5 pounds of the current weight now since October. So and that's when the majority of, you know, my weight loss was not over, but that's kind of so. And I've had some, you know, when we went to Europe, you know, it was like 10 pounds and it was gone in a week. And this whole set point thing, and it wasn't like I came back and starved. It's like all I did was come back and start doing what I knew to do, and it just kind of came back off. And so I think there's something to this. I travel and I'll think I did bad, and I'll come back and I'll step on the scale because I don't. Unlike you, I don't travel with a scale.
Yeah, I didn't do it this time, and I was so mad I didn't bring it.
So I've heard you say that, but I don't. But when I do get back, I usually reluctantly, you know, step on that scale on Saturday morning or something, and I'll look at I'm always surprised, like, wow, no damage. That's great, you know, because. Yeah. But and I think some of that has to do with this whole set point thing. I don't know. Right. I hope so.
I'm sure you're right. It's frustrating though when you're at a set point that you don't want to be, but it would explain how I had such a high weight gain after Tough Mudder and all that 4th of July, and then just getting kind of serious with Jeff. I mean, he does have me in a state that all the research shows is ideal for burning fat and sparing muscle, and not just burning fat, because they say we burn fat all the time. It's that mobilization of fat, stored fat, getting that out. That state that I'm in for most of my day is supposedly ideal for that. Of course, I have some hormones that I need, you know, are just constantly all over the place. But we can operate as if it's not a factor, and then if it is a factor, deal with it. But so far so good. But the set point might explain how I'm right back. Like I said, I gained about 9 or 10 pounds. I lost about 9 or 10 pounds, both in a very fast amount of time. And 10 pounds is not just, oh, I got a little bloated because I ate some carbs and put on all. But 10 pounds is significant. And to gain or lose in a short amount of time. So I don't know. It's interesting stuff.
It seems like when it happens that quick, it's got to be largely water. It just seems like
and inflammation, which is also water, or you know, fluids and stuff like that. So it may be a little of both. You know, it may be a little bit of fat you put on, but a lot of water weight and a little bit of. We know that when you go ultra low carb, you drop water because carbs hold so much water. So that's one of the critics of a low-carb diet say, oh, well, all these people are falsely thinking they're losing weight right away when it's really just water. And if you fall off the wagon and have a piece of pie, you're like, oh, my God, I gained 3 pounds last night, when it was really just There's a lot of that's just the water from the carbs. But anyway, I don't know. Again, I should always say with every one of these shows that we are not nutritionists.
Oh no.
So far from it. We are just people experimenting, and we do usually have links. We have a resource page on our website at fat2fithq.com, fat2fithq.com, where you'll see links to like Jonathan Baylor and Jeff Fry Nutrition and different people who are the experts, Caveman Doctor, Roger Dickman, those kind of people. We are just a journey. We are just experiencing things and reporting out. So yeah, so far so good. I'll have to tell you guys. Oh, next week on the show, look who we have if you're watching on YouTube. This guy. Have you got this book? Do you have this book?
I do not have that book.
This is it's one of his many books. This is called Beyond Training by Ben Greenfield. Have you heard of this Ben Greenfield guy?
Oh no, I listen to his podcast. I just don't have that. I try not to. That book's way too thick for me to read.
It's such an awesome book. If you want to biohack, if you want to even get it, it's for even for novice biohackers just starting out, because you can read it like a dictionary, like a resource, not a dictionary, but like a resource. Like you go to the back and go, I wonder how sleep affects me, and you just look under sleep, and there's just everything you ever wanted to know in the latest research and everything about sleep. So I like the way it's said it's perfect for your most elite athletes and any soccer mom who is interested in being a little more effective. But I was just kidding about this Ben Greenfield guy. Pretty much everybody.
Do you listen to him?
Yeah. Well, I'm having trouble keeping up with all the things he's doing. Yeah. Right now I'm real interested in his Obstacle Dominator podcast.
Right.
That's pretty cool.
I haven't listened to that. I'm interested in, he's supposed to, and I don't know because I don't always listen to things in order, because I'll see a title and then I'll listen to what I want to listen to by title instead of like the show note. But I know he was getting ready to go do some kind of like civilian version of Navy SEAL training.
Cool.
Like legit, where they were going to try to, break his spirit, so to speak. I mean, in a real, very serious, like it was hardcore. I heard the guy on, and so he even acted like he might be a little nervous. I'm really interested to hear the podcast after that to see how, because it's like multiple days, sleep deprivation, the whole deal. It's like a SEAL Fit kind of camp thing.
I'll ask him about it if you want.
Yeah, ask him if he's done it yet.
Yeah, it's like JT wants to know what's up with that. I will.
I'll shoot you an email with the name of it. I can't remember. I know it's related to SEAL Fit, but I can't remember what it's called. So
I'm gonna ask him that, and I'm gonna show him all my Tough Mudder headbands, and he's gonna be jealous. That's what my plan is. I'm gonna show up Ben Greenfield.
You should just wear them all at the same time.
Right. I've done that before. Ridiculous. But no, man, he's doing all those Spartan races, and those are for real. Those you have to do the burpees when you walk around things, and we had to do at Sean's at F3. All right, well, we should wrap it up. We're over an hour now, and we appreciate the one viewer that's watching us live right now. I know there's at least one. There might be more, but I see one out there. So, no, this show will post pretty soon because we're behind in podcasting. So, JT, I hope you're going to be on again. I would love it if you could be a regular.
I'd love to.
Cool.
We'll see if this is not the lowest listened to episode. Then you'll retract the invite. So
I miss just a check-in like that. So I know you told me I should have updated people that before Tough Mudder that you went to Europe and you gained 10 pounds, right?
Yeah.
And then
several weeks, 30 days or so before at least. Yeah.
And then when I saw you for Tough Mudder, you'd already lost it.
Yeah. And
for folks that don't know, JT lost like 75 pounds within a year, right?
Right.
From listening to Fat2Fit HQ.
That's right.
That's how I got started anyway.
You know what? It was all this whole podcast thing is it's a huge support system for people who are motivated that way. So That's why I like doing this, because it keeps me grounded.
Yeah. Well, you keep us grounded. I mean, it's a whole back and forth thing. So we totally appreciate you, and I would love to have you on regularly so we could just do the whole check-in thing instead of. I mean, I love constantly having an expert on, but also like with how's it going kind of thing.
That's
I'm
cool.
glad you said that about the support system because I want a big shout out to Howie Broyles and all the people over on MyFitnessPal. We are having an August check-in challenge. So this isn't through Fitbit. Anybody can be in it because MyFitnessPal is for free, and the links are in the show notes on how to get into our group for MyFitnessPal. And so there's discussion boards in there. I haven't figured out how to do that on my phone, but on a computer you can totally see discussion boards. There's all these threads, people talking. And in August we're going to start a thread, and we want people to check in every day with just one sentence. Please do not use go ahead and use another thread to go kind of talk about. We have other threads to talk about your week and how everything's going and all that. That's what those are for. But this challenge is going to be, you need to check in with one sentence. So it can be a question for other people. It can be a motivational thing. It can be a frustrational thing, whatever. But we are hoping people will plug in to the community through that. And then at the end of August, we're going to ask you if you think you checked in every day. If you think you checked in every day, then you can email us and we'll double check at that point if we can find a check-in for you for every day. And then we'll have a Google Hangout roundtable with some of our everyday check-in folks, and just talk about if like Howie's thinking that it's really going to make a difference for him to knock off a few more pounds, to be for sure coming into MyFitnessPal every day, and for sure being around positive influences, maybe logging your food, maybe paying more attention to what you're eating that day, or maybe just getting some inspiration. So yeah, August check-in through MyFitnessPal. Look in the show notes and you'll see the links. You'll also see the links for our mud runs that are coming up, our obstacle runs. So JT is doing a Tough Mudder, and he wants you to join him on August 4th and the next weekend. And he's in Dallas. He's going to be in Dallas for that. And I'll be in Galveston for the Gritty Goddess for women and children and men who want to come and support. So what else? We got Ben Greenfield on the show next week. What else you got going, JT? Did I forget anything?
No, that's it. By the way, the name of that, I would ask him about SealFit. So when you're talking to him, I just looked it up on my phone. So SealFit. So just ask him, and I think he'll probably be able to take it from there. I bounced over to his website, and he mentioned it. So no, not much going on. We'll see. I always get paranoid. I've been on the road a week, so I'll come home tomorrow, and I'll jump on the scale Saturday, and I'll hold my breath, and I'll let you know how the damage was.
Put it on MyFitnessPal, because anybody who's your friend in MyFitnessPal, you know how you can put it. That I can see on my phone. When you go, holy crap. Right. You can do that, and I can do that. So everybody, yeah, I know it's easy to look at MyFitnessPal and see people like has logged in 45 days in a row, or updated her food log, or finished her food log. But I love seeing when people take the time to put a little comment in there. Hey, is everybody having a great day today? I'm back on the wagon, or whatever. So y'all start commenting. Okay, so that's it. Go ahead and please leave us a review in iTunes. If you are plugged in using iTunes, please do leave us a review. That helps this show so much, and I'm always eternally grateful for that. And and also come and check us out on Facebook. I got a picture of myself with a gigantic gun behind me yesterday or day before when I was at Woody's Smokehouse, and so that so well ties in with Firearms Radio Network. I have my Fat2Fit t-shirt on, but that was in Centerville, Texas when I was driving through. And yeah, come like our Facebook page, please. And we also are going to have Rachel Guy on the show in a couple of weeks. And if you don't know Rachel Guy, oh my goodness, she is Australia's top trainer for women. She's so gorgeous. She's crazy gorgeous. And so, but she's so fit. And so, there's a lot. She's Ben Coomber's other half of his podcast. So if you liked Ben, you'll really like Rachel also. So yeah, check us out, social media, spread the love. We appreciate you. And JT, I really appreciate having you. You have to come back.
All right, thanks. Thanks, Carol.
You're welcome. We'll talk soon.
All right, safe travels. Bye.
Okay, bye.